Hi there! Welcome to the first lesson towards the Folio 4 experience, and the first step in your journey to becoming a citizen creative. I'm going to take this opportunity to congratulate you on your past accomplishments, and invite you to participate in the next stage of your education as a designer. There are tons of opportunities available to you over the next 4 months to grow both your design and your conceptual skills. And this video covers the culmination of this, the CAPSTONE project. So let's talk about it. Your Folio 4 group of classes are the courses that you will take over the next few months. Digital Publishing, the class you are in now, Logos and Symbols, Creating Brand Experience, and Project and Portfolio 4. The instructors in this group of classes all work closely together to deliver a top-notch education, and have designed this group of classes to represent the beginning of the, quote, advanced, unquote, part of your education. The concepts we introduce and our expectations of you have been raised ever so slightly because you are now in the specialized portion of your degree. The first block of courses are linked because they share and deliver new concepts in progression as they relate to branding, advertising, and identity design. The culmination of Folio 4 block is the CAPSTONE project. This project is a huge part of this block because it spans the entire time you are with us. You heard me right. This project is completed over the course of 4 months and is built little by little through each of your 4 courses. As your instructors, we want to provide you with the opportunity to do well. We know that sometimes the month-to-month full sail schedule doesn't provide much time to take on personal projects or revisit skills that you would like to refine. So here's your chance. The basis of the CAPSTONE project gives you a nice comfy timeline and structure to explore old and new skills, research, deep concepts, and to try your hand at designing new formats. At the end of the 4 months, your CAPSTONE project should be ready to put towards your portfolio as a comprehensive example of your capabilities in design. It also challenges your inner superhero because this project represents the opportunity to do some social good or give back to your community. Before we move forward, let me introduce myself. I am Susie Johnson, instructor of the Project and Portfolio 4 class. Even though there are several of us that have a hand in the mechanics and creation of this project, you'll probably meet us all at some point, I will be the face of anything CAPSTONE related, mostly because the culmination of this project happens, well, in my class. It's nice to meet you. Moving forward, let me share with you the timeline of the CAPSTONE project's completion. I told you that a little bit of this project is built in each class of the Folio 4 block. So if you take a look at this timeline, you can see how this happens. Month 1, Digital Publishing, and Month 2, Logos and Symbols, are heavily research-based. And why not? Much of the beginning of a project is research, so you will be getting to know your project goals, subjects, and existing parameters. In Month 3, Creating Brand Experience, you are synthesizing or sorting through all of that information you collected in Months 1 and 2 to develop a plan of action or a strategy for design. And in the 4th month, Project and Portfolio 4, you are implementing your strategy through design. I'm not going to go into the specifics because I think that would be a bit of an overload. So the remainder of our chat today is going to focus on what you're doing for this month, okay? Okay. So maybe I've hit a point where we are a few minutes in and you've dozed off, or you're like, huh? And that's okay. An open-ended task is always a little confusing, but first you have to wake up. I promise that it will all be clear in a few minutes. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us being myself or one of your other instructors in the Folio 4 block. We're here to help, but more importantly, we want to see you do well. Actually, do better than well, do phenomenally well. So our goals in giving you this task are a bit grander than creating pretty designs, or even unique concepts. You heard me mention the term citizen creative earlier. A citizen creative is a persona that my fellow instructors and I developed to define our goals for you, the student, upon graduating. This person is not only equipped with the skills necessary to create aesthetically pleasing designs, the confidence established through utilizing a seasoned creative process, and the know-how to conduct themselves with a professional attitude, this person is also equipped with a good conscience and the responsible nature that comes with knowing what design is capable of doing. This person knows how to select projects that positively affect their community and uses their knowledge to help educate others in demystifying the creative process. A citizen creative is a well-rounded and capable person in any situation, not just for profit, but for good. It's a badge of honor, cultivated by experience and the body of work you do. We hope that this project is the first step you take in becoming this type of person, and we will be around to elevate you to that level. A small disclaimer. Before we move forward, I suggest that you familiarize yourself with the proposal by downloading and opening the overview PDF for this assignment. You can keep the video open or pause it while you're reviewing. Either way, I will still be here when you're ready. So as I step off my soapbox, what are we asking you to do for the first part of your capstone project? This entire process is centered around the idea of giving back to the community. So the main focus of this project is providing design to a local nonprofit of your choosing. The first action you will make in this month is telling us which nonprofit you plan to focus on through your proposal. While you may already have an idea of who you're picking and what you want to do for them, we want to push you to think deeper. Develop your selection process to isolate the areas that this nonprofit needs the most help. Think about where you can really do the most good with your design. We are asking you to examine this local nonprofit and present general information on who they are and what they provide through the lens of its participants and the empathy map. You will also be reflecting on your motivations and presenting this information for feedback. I will be explaining each of these points over the next few minutes. In the creative world, this is called preparatory research. The process of identifying who you are working for and what they need is essential to understanding what approach you are to take with their problem and its solution. I'm not going to leave you in the dark, however, as to how to start going about doing this. With every capstone activity, there is always a lesson. This one today has to do with preliminary research. So if you're completely lost, I'm going to highlight some ways that you can go about completing your proposal with no extra stress. Because we ask that you show us your research, again, going to go over that aspect in a minute, we request that you utilize an empathy map. The empathy map is great because it helps you become familiar with your nonprofit in a one-stop shop format. You also have the opportunity to make it look pretty. One empathy map only examines one aspect of your nonprofit, so you will need to examine it again and again through multiple angles and audiences. Keep in mind that an empathy map is removed from the source, meaning that you are relying on your own collected data to represent the truth. So be specific and try to avoid generalizations. Now that the concept of the empathy map has been reviewed, let's look at an example and get some tips on it. Here is a sample of a past student's empathy map. This type of cross-sectioning represents the base structure of this document. You notice that an empathy map is completed from the point of view of one particular type of person. In a nonprofit, there are several types of people to consider empathizing with: the founders or owners, the volunteers or donors, and the recipients or participants, to name a few. When researching your nonprofit, you'll have to consider at least 4 to get a good idea of their unique situations. The main portion of the empathy map challenges you to think about what each person hears, sees, thinks, feels, and does in regards to being a part of this nonprofit or being a part of this nonprofit at a certain moment in time. It's kind of like a snapshot of your target audience's main concerns and thoughts on the subject. There is also a section at the bottom that highlights any pains or gains that they may have in consideration. If you are an abstract and emotional person, an empathy map may be easy to fill out because it really allows you to complete research by putting yourself in someone else's shoes. In other words, you're empathizing. To help you think about empathy maps, I have included some links in the activity description that may serve to inspire. Finally, the presentation. After collecting information on the nonprofit you're going to help out, you will need to create a report of sorts that presents your process, choice, and findings to one of us being your instructors. Your presentation is going to be unique to you and the research you have conducted. It needs to be organized and produced outside of a standard presentation template. You have the opportunity to design it in whatever fashion presents your information best. Think about it this way. You are telling an unknowing third party about the story of you embarking on selecting a nonprofit in need. Your narrative will be punctuated by the themes and needs that make your choice unique, and how that makes it the most suited towards your goals as a citizen creative. Under this video, I have provided a few links to examples of presentation design. That may help you think about how to compile your findings in an organized fashion that suits you. Please take a look. Because I like to make things easy and palatable, let me share some tips about our expectations regarding your presentation. Make sure that whatever format you choose to present your information in is organized and presents a natural progression of your process. Don't jump from point to point, but rather outline and build a narrative through well-planned sections or stages of information. Try to highlight certain points that developed from your research that helped you make your decision. We'd love to hear about the unique personal touches that make your projects your own. Give us sources to research ourselves. If the nonprofit has a website or other social media pages, please include them. Finally, give us some insight into the order in which you've collected your information. The creative process is crazy, but it's a labor of love. We would love to know where you started, ended, and everything in between. Your presentation will be delivered through a one-on-one meeting with an instructor from the Folio 4 block. In fact, every time you complete a task towards your project in the first 3 months, you will be meeting with us to talk about it. There are several of us that host these meetings, so you may end up talking to me. Woohoo! These one-on-ones are your responsibility to schedule and attend. Because we offer these meetings around the clock, there is no way for us to tell when you're ready to go. But scheduling and attending are two totally different things. If you're not in attendance, we can't really get the full scope of your intentions, although we will still be able to give you some blind feedback based on your presentation file. All of this is graded: the presentation, the one-on-one check-in, and even sometimes the scheduling. So make sure you are aware of these deadlines in your activity feed. It sounds pretty intimidating to talk to an instructor face-to-face. But not to worry, as I've said before, our goal is to help you. The one-on-one is an open conversation about your project, its potential, its opportunities, and its concepts. Know that it is best to take notes during these meetings. Although the meeting is recorded and uploaded to you via the check-in activity, it can be helpful to just jot key ideas down. Your instructors are people too, so encourage the conversation by asking questions and opening the dialogue about your ideas with us. We are totally into talking openly and at length. It's why we teach. Because you are also presenting information to us, make sure you prepare what you are going to say ahead of time. We're not asking for a performance, just a structured explanation. It's hard to look at stills and images of data and come up with stuff. Give us the context of your personality and experiences. Finally, understand that you are our priority. If you are confused, stressed, or you just want to exchange ideas, we're around. I mean, maybe not at 2 a.m. on a Saturday, but never feel scared to speak to us or to admit that you are struggling. On the flip side, tell us about your triumphs and successes too. We'd love to hear from you, and we actually look forward to speaking to you, believe it or not. Well, that pretty much sums up what this first portion of your project is about. You will find complete instructions in the download section of this activity. Make sure that you also check out the links below to learn more about topics covered in this video or to view templates and examples of presentations. From myself and your other instructors, welcome again to the Folio 4 Capstone project, and we are so excited to see what you come up with. Happy designing!